And for anyone chancing upon this programme who is not frozen in the dark, welcome to this special production for a guaranteed audience of 43.
It's a real pleasure to talk to you. You've had a really varied career. You've moved all over Thailand, and you played in Malaysia and played for the Malaysian national team as well. First of all, I heard a story about when you first arrived in Thailand, you were going for a trial and you forgot your boots. Is that true?
No, I don't think that's true. No, I arrived so basically I got an opportunity to come to Thailand through Michael Byrne, who was a big sensation back then. The first white guy with blonde hair, scoring from all over the shop. So yeah, he got me a trial. I went to Nakhon Pathom. Didn't know nothing about Thailand. Didn't know, how the setup was, the facilities, etc. Didn't know much. I just knew it was a beautiful country, great things about it. I wanted to go back into professional football, and took the opportunity to go out there and play. I was playing semi-pro at the time, and I was working as well, so I just wanted to play full time. Got the opportunity, went on a 2-week trial, basically sold my car, quit my job, let my football team know that I'm going to be leaving the club. So I took a bit of a gamble on the opportunity for the trial. Went over there with my boots, so I did have my boots. Didn't know what to expect, but yeah, never looked back after that, and things worked out.
So
pretty
what were
well.
your first impressions when you came in? Because it's obviously a huge change, moving from non-league in the UK to a new country, new temperament, new everything. What was the first impressions of the game?
Yeah.
It's quite different, and even back then it's even more different.
Yeah, so first impressions arrived in Thailand in the evening. I got picked up by one of the senior players. I got took to the hotel. Then we basically had some traditional Thai food put out, which was, shared plates and different foods, which you don't get in the UK. It's kind of like you have your plate of food, someone else has their plate of food. Then the next minute we had a tower of beer come out onto the table as well, which I was very surprised. So yeah, this particular player wanted to have a drink, so massive tower of beer. And I was like, I've just literally come out here trying to change my life, left everything behind. The first thing I want to be doing is having a beer, but out of courtesy, I had a couple of glasses. Next day we had straight into it a trial game, as some Thai teams do. They throw you straight in the deep end. And then I was on the bench and I was watching the game. I thought, okay, I think I'm confident I can play at this level. I can make a good impact. Came on for the last 20 minutes and then played on the wing, did a sprint down the line. And then all of a sudden, the warm air just started filling the lungs, and I was like, very struggled with the climate change. I got through the game, did okay. The mentality of the guys I thought was brilliant. They're very welcoming, very friendly, like to joke, like to have a laugh. So kind of, that was nice. But yeah, I was very surprised. Physically, they don't look as dominating as the UK players, but a lot of the players are aggressive, they're fast, technical, and I just thought for me at that moment in time, it was a great place for me to progress my football career, and Thailand was the perfect situation for my age at 21. So I thought it was very exciting as well. The fans, the passion of the fans, it's great. And if they're a big club or not, a small club, they have the core fans, and then even at the end of every game, the fans applaud oppositions, which I think that should be shared across the world, the way that
I don't think we have the tribalism here that we might have elsewhere. And that sort of, in the UK, it's almost sort of like you hate the opposition players and there's no sort of friendship towards, but you don't really have fan problems here to the same level, which is lovely to see.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to adapt to the climate with the game?
Yeah, so when I came, I was 21. So you're looking at maybe 16 years ago when I came to Thailand. So the games were kicking off at 4 p.m. And so you're warming up at 3 o'clock. You're sat in the changing rooms where everyone's just, sweating and it's hot. So it did take quite some time to, get used to the climate. Obviously the food was very different. So like people having rice for breakfast, which is very different for me. But it got to a point where I'm waking up, I'm like, oh yeah, I want some rice and, this for breakfast. So yeah, I would probably say about 2 to 3 months where I really settled into it and it started feeling normal to play in them heats. And I'm quite fair skinned as well. So I burn pretty easy. But yeah, I didn't mind playing in the hot weather.
I think once you immerse yourself, it sounds like you fully went in the full Thai lifestyle, which is a great way to do it. And a lot of foreigners here seem to really struggle to be able to settle, but the few that manage to do it do very well.
Yeah, because I look back on, there's so many great players in the UK, all different levels of the leagues, and they've got so much ability and gifts that they could bring to Thai football. But I don't know what it is, but there's not many UK players who go to Southeast Asia who stay there for long careers. I don't know if it's the culture or the expectations, or they can't adapt to the situation, but it tends to be 2 or 3 years. Most players tend to move on. But South Americans, Africans, some Spanish players, they seem to adapt and have quite a long career in.
I've had this conversation a lot with lots of Brazilians recently about why Brazilians seem to last longer in the Thai league, and I think it might be something to do with the weather, and also they're a lot more relaxed vibe that sort of matches into the Thai mentality, maybe.
Yeah, I think as well, like, you've got to think of the facilities they've been brought up in, the opportunities they have. Like, people in the UK, we've got a lot of comforts, they've got good facilities. They automatically think England's, the best place to play football. It is at the very top level, your Premiership, your Championship, and obviously League One now. But below that, if you go to Thailand, Malaysia, China, South Korea, all these different countries, the facilities, the opportunities, the exposure is a lot better than playing the lower leagues in England. But yeah, I think it's underrated in the UK for players that they don't not exposed to it, and the opportunities.
I think the UK is very insular in the way we look at football generally. I mean, we're not big at looking at other leagues, and most of our players don't really play elsewhere. It's changed a bit over the recent years.
Yeah.
But yeah,
True.
I think if you look at clubs like Buriram and Muangthong now in the league, the facilities there are amazing. And the comparison could be to probably some Premiership clubs, but Buriram especially. You play for numerous clubs in Thailand, so you've got good experience of the Thai league. From the start of your time in the Thai league till the time you left, do you think it developed lots and moved on?
Massive, yeah. So you could see it year on year. So the year I got there, I think it was unlimited foreigners. There was hardly any foreigners in the league at the time. The next year, you could see TV sponsors started coming in, exposure. Then other sponsors started coming in. Then foreigners from all over started coming on trials. So you'll have pre-season, you could have 50 to 100 players coming through one particular club on trial. But from there, I think they've developed the football. So the football's definitely developed the young players coming through and the senior players who were there. The quality was there. The facilities have got better across the board for all the clubs. The fans grew massively. And then, the exposure through the TV as well. So, every year it grew so quickly. And then from there, the salaries got better. It brought in better foreigners, filtered out other players, and then it grew and grew. And then, as you can see, there's more leagues that have grown from that. I've not had a touch on it over the last few years because I've not been there, but from day one to where it is now, it's a massive development.
Yeah, I think it's still going from strength to strength, really. Apart from during COVID, I think a lot of the sponsorship fell off. So we took a couple of years to reset, and it's rebuilding. It's getting back that way. What would you say your favourite club to play for was, Aidna?
Yeah, obviously Bangkok FC. Bangkok FC, I got the Golden Boot, did very well for them, scoring 55 goals, 75 league games. So obviously the career I had there was great. I had a great connection with the staff players and the fans. So I'll probably say between Bangkok FC and then Nakhon Ratchasima. I had a great time there, great connection with the fans, great city, loved it there in Korat. So I'll probably say them two, yeah. We won the league as well, League One with Nakhon Ratchasima. So for me, them two clubs are the standout clubs where I've got a bit of a soft spot.
And how did you find the travelling? Because you must have travelled, well, when you were with Bangkok FC, they were in T2 at the time, so you must have travelled extensively all over the country. Is that by coach or by plane at that time?
Yeah, everything by coach. So I don't think we did any flights, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the travelling. You get to see different parts of, the country. You're doing it with the guys you're playing football with. Everything's set up for you, the food, the hotel. You just have to prepare for the games. So yeah, I love the away games. Love seeing different parts of the clubs and stadiums. And
I just always related, like, I've been with Phuket, Andaman quite a lot travelling, and It just seems to me endless stops of 7-Elevens and petrol stations along the way, all throughout the country.
To be fair, we did fly to Phuket when we was there. Phuket were really good at the time as well. They had a good club. They were investing a lot. I think it wasn't too many years later that I think they had a big change there. But they were always good to visit, obviously. But yeah, 7-Elevens is always a non-negotiable. Cheese and ham sandwiches and things like that. Yeah.
So how did you find dealing with your teammates? Were there big language difficulties, or you found there was always a way to communicate in a way?
Yeah, I think the first year was really difficult when I was in Nakhon Pathom, because not many people spoke English in the town there, which was great for me because I had to learn very fast. I was pointing to food and, not getting things right a lot. And I think so I started learning a little bit of Thai. I can speak a little bit of Thai, not perfect, but I spoke a bit of Thai. And then I think the players respect that a little bit more, and they can have a bit more banter with you, and then you can go back and forward. And then, it was very difficult the first year. And it's also the culture, getting used to the culture coming from a lower league football in the UK is very aggressive, very in your face, very direct, very, to the point. And, in Thailand, it's my belai, okay, all this kind of work hard, play the best, but enjoy it, and, kind of like don't take it too much. It was adapting and trying to take the best of what I had and taking the best of Thailand and mixing it into my own kind of.
Talking to foreigners playing the game, a lot of people say they've often struggled with the fact that Thais don't take criticism that well in many ways. That, they have to be a lot more gentle, whereas maybe in the UK or elsewhere, you get the hairdryer treatment from the coach, or you get a lot of strong. Right. That doesn't really work with Thais. You have to be a lot more gentle and easy in your.
Yeah, I think I agree. Like, it's kind of like straight to the point. UK, just say it as it is. Emotional way, heart in your sleeve. Get it said. Get it to where Thailand's a little bit. You have to be more delicate. Yeah, they don't take well to just having the hairdryer treatment too much. Every now and then it works, but not too often.
With what Thai players most impressed you during your time in the league?
There was a handful of players, obviously, all the national team players back then. I think for me, there's a lot of standout players, but for me, I think who impressed me the most, who I met over there, was a good friend of mine now, Mika Chinonsi. Not the most technical player, but the mentality he had, I think, with a blend of Thai and coming from Wales with the UK, he knew how to get the best out of all the players he played with. So we played together in Bangkok FC. We were at Mong Tong before that. He had his best spell at Bangkok United. But I could see just how he brought players together. He blended the foreigners with the locals, and then he brought in a good, strong mentality of winning across the board. So technically, not the best, but bringing a team together and the mentality and the grouping, I'll probably say Mika on that.
A good bridge for you as well, with his sort of dual nationality, that you had that at that place. You had to build a friendship as well quite easily, I imagine.
That's right.
I think he's based in Samui these days. He's working with the PSG Academy, I saw the other day.
Yeah. Didn't speak to him too long ago. Yeah, I think he's still involved with the sports background and football related with coaching and things like that. But I think he decided to step away from the game not too long ago.
So what would obviously, as an observer of Thai football during your time there, what do you think is necessary to improve the Thai game as a national aspect? What would the Thais need to improve on?
So when I was playing there, I think sometimes tactically they're a little bit exposed defensively. So I think the top teams have nailed that, where they know how to position, they know how to play. I just think some of the teams in the lower divisions or in the bottom half of the league are too exposed defensively. Very easy mistakes defensively, even if that's one-to-one or positioning. I think that's where a lot of the teams need to evolve, really. Attacking-wise, technically really good. You could say to play at the top level or to compete across the world, you need to have bigger, stronger players, but that's genetics. But I would say just defensively, tactically, where.
I think the physicality is almost happening by itself. I see now the new generation there's a lot of half Thai players coming into the team who add that strong spine to it, and they seem to be accepted, which wasn't going to be the case 5 or so years ago. So now that you've retired, you've stepped away from football completely, or you're trying to stay involved still?
I have. I've had some offers to go back to play in Malaysia. I had an agent contact me about there's a team in Thailand who are interested in bringing me in. But to be honest, I didn't entertain the idea just because I'm on a new path now, doing, I focus on business acquisition, so buying businesses. I'm keeping myself fit. I'm training twice a day, so I'm doing other things like high rocks and fitness-related things like marathons. So yeah, it's always going to be a bit of a tease if there's an agent saying, "Oh, there's a club interested," but I try not to entertain it because I get too excited where I've kind of committed to doing something else now. Probably left the game too early, to be honest, but I'm happy with what I've achieved, and I'm going in the direction.
Could you see yourself, when you talk about acquisitions and businesses, being involved maybe behind the scenes of the club more? Or
yeah, definitely. I love to bring the portfolio to places like Malaysia, Thailand, and build a portfolio there. I'm thinking about the fitness space as well, so sports related. I have seen football agency, business for sales, and things like that, but I've not really looked to push that. Obviously, it's a sector I know, and the connections I've got is great. But at the minute, I'm focusing on certain sectors that I know that are going to work really well. But yeah,
future world, exactly. So, what advice would you look at giving to maybe young non-league players who are looking for a chance and moving to somewhere like Thailand?
Yeah, I would say to be honest, I think the opportunity to get into Thai league now from non-league is very difficult. I was very fortunate when I did it. There wasn't the cap on 3 to 5 foreigners. The opportunity to go on trial was a lot easier. The standard wasn't as good back then, and the funding or the exposure for the clubs wasn't as big back then. When I went there, if you was a UK player, a British player coming in, they'll definitely have a look at you no matter what level you were playing at. But now it's kind of like they've got the agents, they've got the players, they know what type of players they want. So it's developed so much. But I would say I've had contacts from players before. I've said, put yourself out there, speak to as many agents as you can, contact the clubs direct. If you're really that motivated and you're not getting, the answers you need or the opportunity, go out there and literally knock on doors, go see people, go to clubs and just say, look, this is me, this is what I've done, this is my career. Will you have a look at me for a couple of days? The opportunity is there. You just have to commit.
I think you might have to go lower down the league than probably they couldn't go train the T1 now. I think it would have to be a footstep.
Yeah, of course.
I agree.
Yeah. Obviously, you can't go to the likes of Mongtong, Buriram, these clubs and just knock on the door. I'm saying there's many leagues in Thailand. Your best option is going through, agents who have got exposure to the clubs. They're on Facebook, they're on LinkedIn. You've got Instagram. You can contact all the clubs on Instagram. If you've got, if you want to back yourself and you want to commit, you've got to do what you got to do. But yeah, put yourself out there. If you can get yourself out there, it's
agree. I mean, what was the most impressive club structure you went to when you were out there?
I thought Nakhon Ratchasima were really good. Nakhon Tom, I thought they was a good first club for me when I arrived. I thought Bangkok FC were great as a family-run football club. The fans, how they work with the fans and work with the club and that organisation. So yeah, I'd probably say them 3 clubs are probably the best. The way that Nakhon Ratchasima organised match days as well, with all the fans and the car park and how the buses came in, how the players left after the game, that was organised really well.
Cheers, Lee. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Good luck in the future, and hopefully we'll see you again in around about Thai football soon.
Brilliant. Appreciate you having me on the show, and
cheers, mate.
We'll keep in touch.
No, I'll just let it